thanks for dropping by. I expect you are fed up with seeing these plants. Well, you and me both. A task that needed doing, but didn't need doing all at once. I sometimes bite off more than I can chew, end up regretting it, but there are things once started have to be finished. You can't sort of go back on them, and this was one of those. And we've got a few decisions to make, but not that many really. It's a matter of getting them in pots. Now, the Cattleya purpurata, there are two pieces. This one has an eye at the front, an established eye at the front, and a sheath on the latest growth. So that's the most advanced of the two. The other piece has no visible eyes, although potentially there could be an eye at the base of every single one. That's how it goes. These roots are not good at all. In fact, I would say they are next to useless. These roots on this one aren't next to useless and do have some live roots, but not many. And as I said, a nice eye. Now I take the risk, if I put them both in the same pot, here's my towel, and one of the plants fails, then I've got to get it out again. It's unlikely to fail completely, but is possible. So if they both go in the same pot and they both grow, I need to anticipate the direction of growth. Well, this one's easy. The direction of growth is from this end. So obviously that needs to be in the middle of the pot. Yep. This one is unpredictable, but is still likely to be on this front end. So that needs to be in the middle of the pot, facing in the opposite direction. That means the two edges, the two backs, are opposite each other on the edge of the pot. So that's the plan. And the problem I've got is I have 4 small holy clay pots and only 2 large ones. And I think Cattleya purpurata, given its height, its structure, its ability to topple pots over, needs to go in a big one, as there's 2 pieces as well. Now I'm going with this ridiculously large chunky bark. Oops, knocked the polythene off the bag. Halfway up the pot. And then for the rest of it, near the surface, I'm actually going to mix some small bark in with it, just for the top, like a top dressing. That means it'll hold water a little bit longer. Not a huge amount, it's still bark at the end of the day, and it is a clay pot and a holy clay pot. But hopefully it'll encourage some roots. So we'll get some more big stuff. This bag is falling apart. And then we'll add in some Burnham's small stuff to make a mix. I'm not going to add anything else in. Don't want sponge rock or charcoal or anything like that. I just want bark, but I want the top to have the ability to encourage some roots and just hold that water a bit longer. So now we're going to get these plants held in place. That one's going to go there, like that. So where are my holes? If I can get a piece of wire in there, then I can go out through that hole and that will hold that one firmly in place. So right, a piece of wire for that then. I always put the wire on first because it's a right faff doing it afterwards and you end up knocking the plant all over the blinking place. So not so good. So we go in through that hole. Obviously we don't go out the other hole until the plant's in place. So I just want that held like that. And just pinch that with the pliers, that should stop it wobbling around. Right, so that's my wire. And my plant's got to go there, and I don't plan on trying to hold the other piece of the plant with this piece of wire. This wire's got one job to do, and that's hold this piece in place. So between the pseudo bulbs, out through the hole. So I'm holding the plant as still as I can here while we get the wire down in. Because you would get a kink in you, wouldn't you? There we go. Always get it as firm as you can before you pull tight. So is that going to hold that? No. It's going to have to go around a hole. It's at a strange angle. It won't hold the plant. So I'm going to move round to the next hole. That'll give me more of an angle. Let's see how that goes. Yep. All that's stopping this being tight is the fact that it's not high enough in the pot. So the wire's straight, if you see what I mean. The wire's straight over the top of it. It hasn't got a curve on it. So there's nothing to pull. Now it should sit tight. Yeah, I think I know what's wrong. It's not in the right place on the riser. It needs to go more like there. Let's try that. Just keep, I mean, you only do this once, you just well keep trying until you get it how you're happy. Yeah, I'm happy with that, that's tight enough. Don't forget it's going to get pulled a bit tighter with the pliers in a minute. Still wobbling, isn't it? It's not good. Right, we'll raise it up even more. So say you only do this once, you just as well play with it until you're happy. So get some more stuff underneath. Making like a little hill, a little mountain. Now are you going to sit there nice and tight? I think I know what I need to do. I need to bring it forward into the next gap between the next rhizome. Get it towards the front of the plant. I'll probably get a bit more purchase on it then. I can already see that's going to be better. Fiddly. Most of the time I put the wire on and it's right first go. There's no messing about, it just sort of works, but there are times when it just goes wrong. And now I see why it's gone wrong. I'm in the high hole instead of going through the low one. There's something not quite right, me blaming the plant for being too high, when in fact it was the wire that was too high. Now that's going to pull nice and tight now. So what I do to pull it tight is grab hold of the pliers and lever. Yeah? And then come back, grab it again and lever until I'm happy that that plant is tight, which it is now. And then kink it so that it can't go back through the hole. Yeah? Let go of the pliers. And that's got it. Yeah, that's got it. So that's one. Right. Now this one. Now this is the one with the... This one has got an eye. And I'm going to see if I can set this off in the opposite direction. Now this has actually got some workable roots. So we'll have to be... You know, I mean this one is broken, but that doesn't mean to say it won't branch once it gets in some media. So I think what I'm going to have to do is put that strange shaped pseudo bulb round that one. And they'll sort of grab hold of each other then, like that. How are we doing there then? I'm happy with that. All I need now is a piece of wire to hold it there. I'm going to have to lift it up slightly because it's sat high. There's like a hollow underneath it with nothing to sit on. So I just need to get a bit more under there. Make sure it's actually sitting on some media when I pull it down. Yep. Right, bit of wire. If I can find the end. There we are. This one a bit longer because it's going to start a bit deeper down. This one. It's going to start down there. Wrong way, come on, concentrate. In through there, and I'm going to go up through there and grab that at that point there. Nice big fat area there. And then we need a hole to go out of. That'll be that one there. Okay, that's one end secured. And then we come round here and do the same again with the pliers and pull this down hard. Really grab hold of it. It's got it. Right, we can tidy up the ends so that we don't poke our eye out. It goes there. It goes there. And then, like I say, what you can always do if you've got reasonably thick wire is once you've got it in place, push it and put another bend in it, like a kink, and that kink pulls down even harder. Right. So our plant's in place. Now all we've got to do is fill up the gaps. And the gaps are going to get filled up with more small stuff than big stuff. So I'm taking some of the big stuff out and adding some more small stuff in. I want a nice tight mix around the top. Now the trouble is with using small stuff like this, just tight with the rhizome, not above it, alongside it. So we don't bury the rhizome, but it's nice to have the media alongside it. And then wherever the roots come out, if they ever do, they've got something to go straight into. There we go, that's one done. Flipping puffed out already. And I've done one. So there we go. Now that will get an absolute watering. Not today, tomorrow. Why tomorrow? Because the plant's been in soak all night. Roots are absolutely soaking wet. But the bark will take some of that moisture away. So by the time we get to halfway through tomorrow, it will be drying. Right, just going to shut down because I'm going to need to fill that up. Right, let's see what we can fish out next. I think there were two of most of the plants, weren't there? Let's get me wire cutters out of the way. And that's got buds on, some new roots and an obvious front. So that's right then. Where's the other bit of that? Do we have two bits of that? So I'm just comparing the leaves. Yep, those are the same plant. So what we've got here is potentially two leads, but it may only be one. It's difficult to tell. If it's only one lead, that's a lot of plant for one lead. Yeah? If that's the one with the buds. If I do this one, this is going to have to go in the holy one. If they're both going to go in the same pot, which I'd like them to do, they're both going to have to go in there. They'll never go in a small one. They could go a small one each, but it's not the best utilisation of the pots. Right, let's see how these are going to sit then. Give them something to sit on. Again, oldest part of the plant to the edge, newest part in the middle. Is that going to sit there quite nicely? Where's the pinch point? There or there? That's there where my finger is now. So we can come in through that hole, go out through that one. Right. Wire. So I come in through there. Out through there. I'll stop cutting such long bits of wire. I'm wasting an awful lot. I mean, I've got plenty, but yeah, that's not the point. You know, these little bits just get thrown in the bin. You know, you're going to pull nice and tight. Yeah. Not going to be much room for the other bit, is there? Have a think. Perhaps we could pull this one right over to one side like that. Exit one cap. Yeah, that'll also get the growing point away from where the other bit of plant's going to go. I reckon that'll be good. Tight. Right. Yep. I always think if you're testing a plant to see if it's firm, if you let go of the pot and grab hold of the plant and try and wiggle the plant in the pot, if the pot moves with it, then it's tight enough. You see what I mean? Right. Push that down. That's one piece. Over a bit. These roots have had it anyway, so it's not like I'm worried about breaking them. We need some new ones. New ones. Whether we're going to get any or not. It's a shame actually that I messed up that flipping treatment. I mean, it does work for some people, for some it doesn't, but it has worked for people. It's not like it doesn't work, but it doesn't flipping work if the mix that you use is far too strong and you leave it in a position where it doesn't rinse properly. I mean, you know, it's my own fault, but I mean, it just doesn't seem that reliable to me. You know, others have tried it and had success, others have tried it and it didn't work, and others have tried it and lost some plants. So it's not that predictable for me. I'm not keen on it. And that doesn't mean to say it doesn't work, it's just I don't like it. But it obviously does work, people do use it and get results. But like I say, not everybody does. Some people don't get results, they get failure. And I mean, in my opinion, you need to go careful when you run a channel recommending stuff that you're not happy with, especially if it then causes a problem for somebody that they didn't have before. They're going to blame you for it at the end of the day. It'll be all your fault. It's all your fault. And I don't want any of that heading in my direction. So I will decide that I don't like it that much, and that's my decision. And I wouldn't recommend using it, but that doesn't mean to say you shouldn't use it. It also doesn't mean to say it doesn't work, because it obviously does for some people. You could be one of those people. And it works great for you. And you have a brilliant result and you're happy as anything and think, thank you very much for the person who told me. But if you don't get a good result, the person who told you is not going to be your best mate anymore. Being facetious. I'm not even sure that's the right word. Right, top up time. Notice I don't press anything down, not with this type of potting. As it gets watered, the water will settle this in place. And don't forget, this is a Cattleya, well, Laelia, same sort of thing. It's funny actually, you say a Laelia is in the Cattleya alliance. Technically it's the other way round, because the actual Latin name that sits higher than Cattleya is the Laelias. So it should be the other way round really. But anyway, we've got 2 leads, virtually no decent roots, but we've got them both in the same pot, so we've got a new pot full, and already it looks nicer because all the bulbs are sitting up together without having to tie them. They were starting to flop all over the place before. Now what have we got left? What have we got left? Right, so these two are both the same. That one's got an eye at the front, so that's got a lead, and that one has the potential for 2. This is the one with the nice red blooms on. Virtually no roots again, but it's not a good root grower, so it's not going to fill a pot with roots unless it suddenly changes its mind and decides to become a good rooter, but it never has been since I've had it. So I'm just going to try and squeeze it in a small pot. 2, both pieces, if I can. It's got incredibly short rhizome, this one. Yeah, so it forms like a clump. So it will take a while to get out over the edge of the pot again. Well, there's my new eye there. That's the potential for some roots coming out in this area. So that needs to be in the middle, as does that. So that way round. So like that. All nicely clumped up together, and now you see that fits in there nicely, doesn't it? Getting to hold it tight while it's in there is not going to be so easy. Right. Something to sit on, and let's grab some wire. Right, so we've got one of those silly little holes there. We'll use it because it's quite high up. So there's one. And that will have to come across and go down through that hole probably. And we've got another little hole over there. This one's, you know, remember this pot, it's a nuisance pot, because the big holes, you know, as in holy clay pot, there aren't any near the top of the pot, they're all down low. There's just a couple, and I reckon I can get from there across to that one. So out through there, that one in through there, and out through there. Let's see what happens. I've already got the plant how I want it, like that. Potential eye there. What's that? No, that looks a better bet to actually grow. You never know, they both might grow. So like that. Like that. Alright, now we're going to have some fun trying to get this wire on. First of all, we're not high enough in the pot to come up a bit. Better. Remember, it's a small pot, you know, it's only a couple of inches and the roots are down to the bottom, completely down to the bottom. Right, so where's my exit hole? Over there. God, this is going to be fiddly. Right, so we go round there, I think, and out through there. That should hold that piece. It's only got one part of the plant, this bit of wire, but I'm happy with that. Hopefully that will hold that piece in place. Something like that. And then this one needs to go through there. So that's, I'm going to have to thread that this time. Through there, out through there, without poking a hole in the plant, please. And out through there. Right, start pulling. Piece. Right, that'll do. Burnham's bark's got bits of forest in it. That's actually twigs rather than bark. Oh, it's all wood, I suppose. Right, that's that one. That's nice and firm. Now all we need is some flipping root growth. Don't want to lose that one. It's my only red Cattleya, and it took a while to find one. And the fat chance of getting another one now. You know, Cattleyas are thin on the ground. The nurseries that we've got in the UK, generally speaking, do not sell Cattleyas. There's a few who've got a couple of species on their list, but nothing much. You won't find many Cattleyas at Burnham's. They're very, very thin on the ground. They don't do Cattleyas. And a lot of the other nurseries that we talk about are more specialist nurseries. Now, speciotic plants do Cattleyas, but I don't know where they're going to get some more when they run out. They are the worry. Well, and Burnham's. Burnham's have got a notice on their website saying that they've got a sale on of Phalaenopsis because they want to clear out the old stock to make room for new stock. Where are they getting them from, I ask myself. Or are they just knuckling under, and has Sarah decided that if she doesn't deal with the CITES stuff, then she loses her market? So there could be a marked price increase coming up. That's the way I see it. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe she's found a supplier that is willing to do all of the paperwork on the upper side. But that still means she's got to do the stuff on this side. Oh, don't go away, not now. You can't get away with that. Anyway, I shall be interested to find out, and at my earliest opportunity I shall be off to Burnham's to say hello. But at the moment we're still effectively in lockdown and we're not going anywhere. But there could be some easing in the not too distant future. Well, it's still actually at least a couple of weeks away before it even starts. And it starts with the schools, which is no flipping good to me, is it? Right, and where are my wires going to go this time? Last one. Tired. Right, so I've got there's a little hole there, but there's a crack in the pot right next to it across the rim. It stops at the hole below it, but I don't want to poke around in that area in case that pot completely gives in at that point. So we can go in through there. that wire go through there? Yes, just about. That's one of those holes that are a nuisance because they're a little bit, they're not quite big enough, but they're big enough to just get the wire in. So there's one, and then I've got an exit down there, and then I think I can get another one over here quite high up and exit through the same hole basically. Quite long enough. A spiky bit. Gotcha. Right, both of those bits of wire are destined to go out the same place. Right, so let's get some smaller stuff for the plant to sit on. There we do it. We've got some reasonable roots on one piece, and that's the piece, that's where the eye will be, where those new roots are. Not enough, and on the other piece there's signs of roots there, which is the one with the blooms on, i.e. the lead on that piece. So we do have some signs of roots, including some actual, on both pieces. On this one, this is going to be fun trying to get the wire through this. Well, that's going to grab that piece. Just that piece. I'm not going to try and get both of them with each piece of wire. Just going to grab that one. So that's the weaker part of the plant, but it's the one with the roots on, which is good. So that's that piece. Loose, well, relatively loose. And then this piece, I'm going to have to come right across the front. About there. And then out through the same hole, down there. Are you going to hold that tight? Oh, you are. Yes, you are, aren't you? Oh, goody. Right, so we'll pull that one first. Hot wobbling all over the blinking place. Right, that's that one. And this one. Right. Snip, snip. And those over. Top the pot up. Right, that's that one done. So that's the rhizomes covered. So just taking the surface bark off just to expose it. If it's exposed, then it will dry fast. Yeah, the air will get to it, and if you cover it, then it could stay wet longer than it needs to, and that's how you can get rot setting in. Right, so we may have saved the blooms. They may be okay, and these buds may progress and still open. Difficult to say, but at least with these two pieces, there are some signs of some roots. So we may get some new roots in the not too distant future. So Right, I shall just have a bit of a clear up and then we'll have a last look at the plants. Okay, let's get these tagged up and back out in the grow room. So that's the Cattleya purpurata, variety Atropurpurea. And yes, that is a tag. Yes, I have written a tag out. I know it's a rarity, but perhaps it's the way forward. Anyway, this time round. Right, so that's that one. This is the one with the red flowers and the really long name. And in the earlier videos when I was getting this out, I mentioned that this was hand picked from a nursery and couldn't remember the nursery. Dirt on the tag, isn't it? So it's Orchids and More. And looking at the words on there, I would say that's German, but I'm not absolutely sure. So that's the red one with its original tag. As there's nothing wrong with it, we just as well keep it. It saves an awful lot of handwriting because of all the words in the name. That's that one. And then this one, again 2 pieces crammed in. This is just a Cattleya hybrid. I've put orange on the tag to remind me that fact, basically, that it is orange, because that's its only identification. That's that one. And then this is the other one with the really long name. That came from the same nursery, in the same set. Orchids and More. So that's the Shin Fong, Little Sun, Young Min, Golden Boy. It's literally 4 pairs of words, isn't it? Anyway, again, I'll use the original tag, as there's nothing wrong with it. So those are they. As I say, they won't get watered today. They will get put out, back out in the grow room, because they spent the night in the dining room. Whoops. So we'll get those back out in the grow room to reacclimatise themselves, get some humidity around those leaves, having spent a dry night. But they were sat in water. And then they'll probably get a good soak tomorrow, but I will just check how moist this bark is just below the surface. They'll probably be bone dry tomorrow, so they'll need a good soak. I have got some watering to do tomorrow, so I'll be out there anyway. So that's the end of that saga. So an awful lot of video time if you think about it. The 2 unpotting videos, half an hour a piece, so that was an hour's filming. It was an awful lot more than an hour's time involved, but it went down into an hour's filming. And now whatever this one is, this is going to be 30 minutes plus, I suspect. So, but 3 videos out of these 4, possibly bit off a bit more than I can chew. And when I try and do as much as that all at once, you end up with long videos. That's the problem. And I know some people will they'll only get halfway through and they'll skip out. They won't watch it all because it ties up too much of their private time, which is fair enough. But that's the end of those 4 for a while. We'll do an update on them somewhere down the line. It'll probably be based on when something happens. So and the first thing that's going to happen is I'm hopefully going to see some new roots, but that could be quite a way off in some of the cases here. So there we go. Hope you've enjoyed that, messing about with clay pots, and I'll see you next time.